Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Thursday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, details, guys. I swear, sometimes things that seem like little details end up taking as long or longer than major things. Let me talk about what I did today, and you'll see what I mean. Because I pretty much spent all day working on this car, and it doesn't really sound like that much, but things are just time consuming to do them right and do them neatly. And anyway, let's talk about what I did today. So first thing I did was pick up the overrider bumper or overrider support grommets. So those round ones there. So Wolfsburg West is out of those. Luckily, Eddie Collins over at Eddy and Dave's Garage had a pair of those. So I swung by this morning and picked those up. By the way, I went over there in the Barndoor bus, thought might as well, put literally like half a mile on it. His shop's right around the corner. But yeah, took it, and it, of course, did not miss a beat. And he actually did a quick video of me starting the motor up and then the motor running. So I will try and remember to put a link to that video in the description of this video. But anyway, yeah, so picked those up and then took the front bumper and polished it up with steel wool, so triple aught steel wool, and cleaned it with a little lacquer thinner, and looks amazing. I think the bumpers, front and rear, I think are fairly new on this car, and I think they're probably from Wolfsburg West because they're very high quality, and they cleaned up really nice. They just had some, like, I don't know, light kind of corrosion on them, whatever that is that chrome gets that polishes right off but looks terrible when it's on there. But anyway, yeah, so they came out really good. So yeah, went ahead and mounted that up and got it all lined up and stuff. Fit beautifully, as we expect from Wolfsburg West bumpers. We pretty much don't restore bumpers, at least on cars that have bumpers available from Wolfsburg West. There's no point. The ones from Wolfsburg are so nice. And unless it's like a split window or something like that you can't get a correct bumper for, just put on the Wolfsburg ones. Guys, chrome has become so expensive, it makes literally no sense to re-chrome a set of bumpers like this, essentially. So anyway, yeah, polish that up, put it on. And then I had cleaned the back bumper before, but I didn't polish it with steel wool, so did it too, and boom, amazing. So there you go. Anyway, so that was kind of how I started my morning. And then I decided it was time to go ahead and install the hubcaps on here. So he had really nice hubcaps with it, or they should. I should say it belongs to a family. They had really nice hubcaps. I think also probably Wolfsburg West, which are very nice thick metal and very high quality chrome job. But they were missing the logo painted in, so went ahead and painted those. And so that's honest to goodness paint. That's not like a vinyl sticker like some people or some shops use. We actually paint those. And so it's kind of time consuming, but it's a nice detail. And yeah, I don't know. It just seems cooler to have them actually painted like they were from the factory than some kind of vinyl decal stuck in there that who knows how long that's going to last, or if it's going to fade from the sun or whatever. So anyway, that's how we roll around here, hand painted. So yeah, I did those. And then let's see, what else did I do? Went ahead and installed the axis covers. I might have done that yesterday, actually. Yeah, I did that yesterday. Another thing that I did, another detail, is I replaced the heater cables. So these early cars just have, or earlier, like 64 and down, they just have the single knob there that you rotate to turn the heater on. And that connects to basically two cables. It's actually one cable that comes here, makes a little U-turn over a pin and then goes back. But it seems like two cables, but it's actually one technically. Anyway, so yeah, the cables run back to the heater boxes from there. And so I went ahead and replaced that cable. One of them, I think on, which side? I think on this side, the tip was broken off, which is quite common, and then it just ends up too short, and they were all ugly and stuff anyway. So yeah, I went ahead and replaced those. Again, Wolfsburg West to the rescue. They make super nice heater cables and every other kind of cables for these cars. So yeah, replaced that, and then took the original, essentially like earlier style barrel nuts where the heaters and the heater cables connect. So it's the fat ones. It's not the later ones that look more like the throttle barrel nuts. These are the big fatties. They're kind of a pain in the ass actually to install compared to the later ones, but they look super cool and they fit in the linkage correctly. Unlike putting the later style ones on early linkage, they just don't fit as well. And they're not as cool. But anyway, yeah, so we had those, so I cleaned them up, installed those. So yeah, heater's all connected now. I haven't actually, with the motor running, turned the heat on to see if I could actually feel anything blowing out of there. Probably go ahead and do that too, but it should work. There's no reason it can't. The heater tubes are on, connecting the body to the heater cables. I did that yesterday, I think, stuff like that. So yeah, guys, just lots and lots of little details here. Another thing that I did, I'll go ahead and pop the hood here. A little bit of stuff under the hood here. So I cleaned up a spare tire and put it in, and of course, watch the video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Ground the paint out of the lug surfaces there. You can see I've got a tech tip on doing that. Please do that if you've painted or powder coated your wheels, or at some point if you have, and those should pretty much be bare metal where the lug sits. Anyway, went ahead and got the proper black hose, you can see right there, and plumbed that in all the way to the wiper switch, and then from the wiper switch to the squirter that you can see in the middle right there. Unfortunately, the valve in the wiper switch sticks. So if you pressurize the tank, the water just like comes out regardless of whether you're pushing the button or not. I don't think anybody really uses those anyway. So I don't know. I'll maybe check with the owner and see if he really wants to be able to squirt his windshield through the squirter. Then we'll have to replace his wiper switch. But again, nobody really remembers to keep that thing pressurized or connect it to the spare is the other option and get pressure from there. But anyway, the bottle actually does hold air though. I had to replace the seal on the lid. It takes a seal that I don't know if anyone makes it or not, but I dug through my O-ring collection and found an O-ring that seemed to do the job. I pressurized it to like 30 or so PSI and it seemed to hold very well. I didn't notice any signs of leaking, but probably won't use it because the switch, the valve in the switch seems to be toast. But anyway, yeah, so just another detail, running that hose up in there. You can see it clips on the body right there, kind of runs there. I also went ahead and put 5 gallons of gas in it, and it's reading just over half a tank now, which should be right because I think I put like half a gallon in it yesterday, maybe something like that. So yeah, gas gauge seems to be registering more or less fine. Let's see, what else did I do, guys? Let me see. Also back here at the engine compartment, I did something that I've been meaning to do. And that is to do something with that. So normally on a stock car, the breather right there goes to the air cleaner, which of course normally on a single carb sits right there, and that kind of goes over to that. So if you don't have stock air cleaners or a stock carburetor, then you need to do something with that. And you can run it to, if you have a breather box on like a high performance motor, you can run it to that. The other option is to route it kind of similar in a sense to the factory setup, where you run it to an air cleaner, and then basically that carburetor will draw off any pressure from the motor, excess case pressure or whatever. So that's pretty much what I ended up doing. So AJ over at Low Bucket to the rescue, he had the fitting that you see right there that goes into the top of the carburetor. And the fitting originally was white. It's actually made out of plastic, and it looked terrible in there, guys. It stuck out like a sore thumb because you don't see any white plastic on this motor. So it looked pretty bad, just having that little white thing screaming at you right there. So I basically sanded it down and shot a coat of semi-gloss paint on it, and now it just kind of disappears. You don't even really so much notice it's there. But yeah, so I was thinking about taking the car on a good road test today. If you watch the channel, you know that yesterday I took it on its little parking lot test. I was going to do that today, but I didn't really want to do that with that open because, you know, there could be some oil vapor that kind of goes into the engine compartment and gets on the hoses and stuff like that. So I wanted to wait until I had this sorted out, which literally was the last thing I did today. So probably tomorrow I'm going to put some miles on this thing, because that was really the last thing I wanted to do on the motor before putting a few more miles on it. So that's taken care of now. Just some other little details, guys. I cleaned up the dash knobs and installed them. So again, this one, this little valve inside the switch itself is sticking or something, so the squirter doesn't work. But the original knobs, really nice. I cleaned them up with essentially like simple green, and they came out very nice. They do have the wrong shift knob on it. It should be the kind of gray color like you see the other knobs. Wolfsburg actually does make one that's the correct gray color, so I got to order that. And what else, guys? Yeah, kind of running out of things to do on this car, which was sort of the point of spending all day just taking care of all these little details, you know, knobs and hoses and stuff like that. The other thing I have to do is I need to, when I drive it, check the alignment of the steering wheel and see if it's straight or not, like that, for example, going down the road. And if it is, then of course I will go ahead and connect the horn wire to the horn button and put the cap in it, and then that'll be done. So that's about it, guys. The only other thing I need to do is I need to order some wiper arms and wiper blades. This car did have wiper arms and blades on it, but the wiper arms themselves were super weird looking. I don't know where they came from, but they don't look correct or original at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the correct looking ones from our friends at Wolfsburg West. So yeah, putting those on, and then the radio is coming. This is gonna get a retro sound radio that's gonna look very appropriate in here. And it also is going to need a 6 volt to 12 volt converter, which Retro Sound also started selling at some point in recent times. So yeah, this is a 6 volt car, so I got to bump that up to 12 for the radio. And then once that all goes in, then the trunk liner, wiring cover, which they have a nice wiring cover. I think it may be an original one. And yeah, other than that, guys, just putting some miles on this thing. One thing that I'm very happy about after putting in the spare and the front bumper and some more gas, let me show you guys this, is that the car is sitting much better now. So if you saw the video yesterday, the front of the car was quite a bit higher than the back. It actually looks to me to be pretty level now, but again, at the time, no front bumper, no spare tire, and like maybe half a gallon of gas. So pretty much got the front of the car weighted down now like it will be, and I'm much happier with how the car is sitting. I was pretty sure that was going to happen, but I was a little nervous that it was going to be really high in front, even when I, got all this extra weight up here. But yeah, lo and behold, looks pretty darn good to me as far as the ride height, and so very happy to see that. Yeah, I think that's it for this one. Let me show you guys a couple things on the Barndoor. We did paint his stock wheels the correct color. It's hard to tell. They look very bright on this video, at least to my eyes, but they're much more muted. They're the correct color now. They were really, really, really bright white when we got this bus. They looked kind of crazy. Which is also how like the the white on the bumpers were. It was all just too bright white. So all that stuff now, including the wheels, the stock wheels, are the correct colors. And I went ahead and put the spare tire in it after getting it mounted up. So let's go take a look at that real quick. All right, guys, so let's take a look at this. There we go. Looks much better with that spare tire in there. It was kind of silly looking before with that shelf just being empty. So now this engine compartment is 100% complete, guys, with the spare tire and everything in there. And all the little details that I keep showing you guys. You guys are probably getting sick of me showing this motor, but I can't get enough of this motor. I am so happy with how this thing came out. Anyway, so yeah, little detail on this one, getting the spare tire in. So that is actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, there you go. That is a 16-inch Porsche 356 style wheel, just like the other one. So matching set there, including the spare. And then the stock 16s, he only has 4, but that's fine. He's probably, I'm guessing he's probably never going to put those on here because, I mean, why would you when you've got that, especially with those Porsche brakes showing from behind it. Well, all right, guys, that is it for today. So thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.